All right, hey guys, this is Mrs. Gregerson again. Now I'm just going to give you examples on how to apply this. Now, one thing that I will do is a lot of times instead of giving you long propositions, I will actually just give you the letters that represent them and I'll tell you the validity. Like right here, X, R, and P, no matter what, those are true propositions. Y, Z, and M are false. And you have to tell me if these compound sentences or statements are valid or not. But to do that, I'm really going to want you to think almost like order of operations. Remember, we're going to go down vertically, and I'm also going to go left to right and do inside parentheses first. So just to kind of give you an idea with this. So what type of work would you show for this? Well, this first of all is a disjunction. So I have X or P. And with that, my validity is true or true. So I look back at my truth table, and if I have a true or true, I have a true statement. Very easy way of thinking about it. Notice I don't have to worry about words. I'm just looking at the true or false. The next one I have if not X and P. So if that's the case, I'm really going not true or true. So I get false, or, I'm using the wrong one. And, I said the wrong one. True and true is true. Not true and true. So I get here false and true. The false and true is going to be, in this case, false, because with our conjunction, make sure I say the correct terminology here, please forgive me, I'm a little tired this morning, it's going to be false, because remember the bad wins when you have a conjunction. Now our next conjunction is Y and M, so I have false and false, which makes that value false. Are we starting to see how to show work? It's not really hard, you just have to put directly below. Like these two-step ones are hard to show work, but I know for a lot of you it's just a good habit to learn. The next one's R or Z. It's a disjunction. So here, that means I'm going to have a true or false. True or false is going to be, because I can always choose when it's or, the positive is true. Now the next one, I got P or not M. That means I have true or not false. So I take my negation here. That's true or true, which gives me a true validity. The next one is a conditional statement. That reads if R, then M. So that means I have if true, then false. Now again, if you're not sure, you go look at your validity on your truth table, and if I have a true hypothesis or false conclusion with a conditional statement, this is when I have a false validity. And we keep on going through with these, and it's actually really easy to throw on here. I have not R, then not M. So I have not true, then not false. So I get if false, then true. Now, remember, if I still end with a true conclusion, we use the example of the guy still taking his girlfriend to the movies, even though he didn't mow the lawn. I know that's still going to end up being a true statement. Now the next ones are when they start getting fun, because I can do order of operations and lots of fun stuff. So here, let's put in our validity of all these. Not X, so that's going to be not true and true, or not Y, so that's not false and false. Now inside the parentheses first, I'm going to have false and true. I'm going to go ahead and change this so I don't forget. So I get true and false. So false and true, that's a conjunction. Remember, you can't separate them. False wins out. Then go left to right, so I look at these two next. False or true, I can choose true. Then I get my conjunction, so then I get true and false. Can't separate them. You get a false statement. So make sure you're working carefully with those. All right, and the number 9, doing the same type of idea. Now, inside parentheses first, so my negation symbol stays on the outside. You cannot distribute that. It's not a distribution property like in mathematics. Keep it on the outside. R is true, then Y is not Y, so that's going to end up being true. So if true, then true is a true statement, but since it's not true, it's going to end up being false. All right, last one of these, and then we're going to do a couple more examples of where you have to go between these. Now this one we have lots of brackets and stuff. So we put in our validities. M is false, R is true, not Z, so that'd be a not false, and not false. So we're going to go ahead and plug those in real quick. False, then true. If I look at my conditional table, I know that is a true statement. So true, or, and I'm going to go ahead and change the validity here of these. So I end up having true or true, which is true, and true. So true and true is a true statement. Now these aren't hard. If you need to come practice these, we can actually make them up together and I can help you practice these. But the number one thing I want you to remember here is don't distribute these. Be real careful and do it inside the parentheses first. All right, now I want to do a couple examples of these up above. One thing that we have to do is, if everything was just symbolic, great, it'd be really easy for us. But we want to be able to go between what I call the verbal translation, the English words, and what really is going on. So I'm going to actually ask you kind of to interpret it for me. So I tell you what the values are. You should be able to tell me if these are true or false statements. So like, is 2 times 2 equals 4? That's true. 2 times 3 equals 6. We're going to sit there and say true. 2 times 1 equals 3. We're going to say that's false. 1 plus 7 equals 6. That's false. There are 52 weeks in a year. We're going to say that's true. February has 27 days. We've had an argument of this in the past. We're going to say that's false because it really has at least 28 days and then 29. So just for, let's not argue, just for the sake of this problem, will you please just say it's false, okay? And then for R, we say Mondays are before Tuesdays, and we know that's true. So I just marked the validity of these because I'm going to be asked, are my statements in English true or false? So in the very first one here, we have the proposition X or Z. Well, X is the following. 2 times 2 equals 4, or what is Z? 2 times 1 equals 3. And that is my sentence. Well, let's show the validity of that one. We know that's true or false. So which is my validity on that? That's correct. True. And then we have, like, for the next one, we have not Y and M. So what's the opposite of Y? So if 2 times 3 equals 6, you're right. It's going to be 2 times 3 does not equal 6. And what's M? 1 plus 7 is equal to 6. So what's our validity on this one? Well, our validity for this one is going to be false and false. Well, it's a conjunction, so true, false, definitely make it a false statement. Let's do the last two here real quick. Now, you're going to have stuff with parentheses even here, guys, so that's where it's going to be really interesting when you're working with this using commas, correct stuff. I gave you some harder problems on the homework. Let's do the first one. If P, then Q. So what would our sentence be? If there are 52 weeks in a year, then February has 27 days. So what's the validity on this one? It says I have if T, then F. Now, remember, we just said this was false for the sake of the problem. I just said go with it. You could argue with me later in class that tomorrow. But we know if it's a true, then false, we know that's going to be a false conditional value. Now let's look at this one. If not Q, then R. So I still have an if-then statement. So what's not Q? If February does not have 27 days, then what's R here? Mondays are before Tuesdays, right? So if that's the case, we know not false, then true. Well, not false is true. So if true, then true, what's our validity? That's right, true. You guys are doing awesome. All right, we're almost done with notes, and hopefully we'll get an example of everything. Now, we're still going to use our propositions up here. So this is my key, my legend on how to do it. It says the following. Write the following statements in symbolic form using the symbols given above. Then tell whether the statement is true or false. So on this one, I get 2 times 2 does not equal 4, or 1 plus 7 does not equal 6. So when I do that, not equals 4, that's going to be up here, that's going to be my x, but it's going to be a not x. So I get not x or not m. So that is going to be my symbolic form right here. But what's the validity of that? Well, the validity of that is going to be false or true. Well, what's the value going to be for that? True. Okay, and some of you would go like this. If it's a worksheet, I see you doing that, just show me work. So I kind of understand, but let's just make sure we're careful and clear with how you're showing me your work. Let's look at the next one. It says, if there are 52 weeks in a year, then February does not have 27 days. So I know it's an if-then statement, so I know my symbol right here is going to be a conditional. Which value proposition is there for there are 52 weeks in a year? Right, that's going to be P. And then February does not have 27 days. That's not Q. Now, what is the validity for this? Well, that's if true, then not false. So I get if true, then true. My validity should be true. All right, last one on here to give as an example. It says if Mondays are before Tuesday and 2 times 3 is equal to 6. So Mondays are before Tuesday. Well, that proposition is going to be are. My conjunction represents and 2 times 3 equals 6, which is y. So there's my symbolic form. Here's my symbolic up above. What's my validity for this? Well, that's going to end up being true, and what's y going to be here? What did I say y? 2 times 3? Yeah, it is y, excuse me. Is true. So true and true is true. Now, come in if you have questions. I'll be here like lunch on Thursday, so that should help for a lot of you. Your homework is the worksheet that you should have grabbed on the way in. So hopefully, guys, this will give you a clarity in mind and thought on how to do this. It's a great way to see how you can watch videos online and learn. I like being in person a little bit more, but I think this is a great first start.